Hey, hi. I'm Mona. This is Sacred Geometry Universe Video Journal Diary for September 15th, 2025. I had an epiphany. Oh my God. It was a Jesus epiphany. Yeah. And I was thinking and thinking about it, and I was like, oh my gosh. It was insane, but it was logical. Yeah, it was totally logical. It was insane. And I never thought this way about it before. I had to pick apart all sorts of stuff in my mind. Well, what about this and what about that? You know what I mean? People get epiphanies all the time, but they don't really think about them logically. They kind of push them to the side. I always use my intuition. I always follow intuition and my epiphanies and all that stuff. But what I figured out was crazy. And people will probably think, oh, blasphemy, whatever, right? Because, that's the reason I don't follow the Bible. Because it's so twisted around. And it's so interpreted in so many different ways, and everybody wants to have their own way, and they reword it, and they fix it and manipulate it the way they want, like all these different Christian religions, right? But no one really has 100% proof that anything in the Bible is real, because it's a story in a book. I believe Jesus was real. Don't get me wrong. I believe, the suffering and all that happened was real. I don't believe in any of the woo stuff or Immaculate Conception. No, I don't believe any of that stuff. And I believe that a lot of those stories are exaggerated. And I also believe that a lot of the things in there about what Jesus said were metaphors for people to figure out. And not all of those metaphors are 100%, because it was translated over and over again. And I do know that a lot of those translations are not correct. I still like to look in the Bible. The stories are good. It's like, you go to the bookstore, you buy a book, you read a good story, you're happy, whatever, right? It's a good book. Yeah. It's an old book. But it's not accurate. It's not accurate at all. So I'll probably talk about it in a chit chat. And I know people are going to be like, oh, she's crazy, she's nuts. But think about it yourself when I do talk about it. I'm still kind of going over it in my mind, and I went online and I looked up stuff too, like where can I find this in the Bible, where can I find that, because even online it can't be 100% correct, but it's it's good at explaining certain things. Another thing is, there's a lot of people out here who, not out here but in the world, who may have dreams, and they seem real, right? Somebody could fall asleep and be like half sleep state, half awake state, and feel like, and be dreaming and feel like it was so real, you know? So I know that happens, you know? Thinking that a thought or a epiphany or whatever can be so real. But there hasn't been anyone in the world who has done any kind of magical or any kind of thing like that is like well known, and people can do it and people are doing it. No. If any of that stuff was true, we would see it today. And we don't. We just don't, okay? There's no one out here saying, oh, I can heal and do. I mean, you see stuff online, online about like miracle touching kids or whatever. But me, I haven't seen that in front of me. I can't indicate whether any of that is true. And people can be convinced so much that they can believe their own personal strengths, because the mind is a powerful thing. People have healed themselves through mind manipulation, and the sickness goes away or something happens or they get better or whatever, right? People can definitely have the strength to do that for themselves. And you can totally convince someone, who is desperate or who has been manipulated to believe certain things, to believe that, oh, if I go here, they're going to heal me. And then they psych their minds up so much and go to these people who are just, I don't know what they're doing, making their big showboat about, I can heal you. And they go there, and the belief, I think, in the individual is so strong that that they can heal themselves. Then eventually it just happens, like with bad feet, and you end up walking because you just believe really strong. Because a lot of people who have been in like some devastating accidents who have lost their walking ability have ended up working hard, believing they can do it, and they walk again. So it's like, yeah, until I see personally some kind of thing like that happening, I just don't believe it. Otherwise it would be well known. Everybody would believe it. Everybody would know it. It's right in front of our faces. I'm not atheist or anything like that. I believe in God because I believe someone created all this. And I believe in Jesus because Jesus was the ultimate teacher. He had a lot of good things to say, and he spread good word. But the way people are interpreting it, So I'm about to do my morning exercises. We just came from our walk, and the next chit chat's going to be about that. And y'all are going to probably call me crazy, but it's okay because I don't care. Because that's all I do, spend my time, when I'm off in these kind of environments. That's why I love being out here so much, because it gives me time to think and reflect, and then I get epiphanies left and right, and I'm just like, oh, But yeah, that's all I have for you guys. This was Sacred Geometry Universe Video Journal Diary for September 15th, 2025, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.